Are you a family caregiver? Are you caregiving for someone who can no longer take care of themselves? Are you overwhelmed? This is Caregiver Solutions Info with Marcia Teele. Marcia will be hosting an hour of true stories and information, tips and updates of the latest research and necessary information in the caregiving field, focusing on you, the family caregiver. An Alzheimer's disease and dementia care expert, Marcia has 15 years of hands-on experience at Arden, Quartz, a leader in assisted living dementia communities here in the U.S. Marcia covers everything you need to know as a family caregiver, especially if you care for a loved one with Alzheimer's disease or other related dementia or chronic illness. If you have a friend or relative that is also a family caregiver, call them now. They won't want to miss a minute. And let them know they can watch on caregiversolutions.info. And they can listen on WNN 1470 AM in South Florida or nationally on the iHeartRadio app. Now, sit back, relax, and learn from our host, Marcia Teele, as she brings information to you that may just be the caregiving solution you need.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's Caregiver Solution Info Show. I'm so happy that you are here. We have another wonderful program for you today. The programs that we bring to you are for family caregivers, for people that are taking care of someone who can't care for themselves, especially if that person is maybe older with a cognitive impairment or some other disease that creates a special need. Now, this is something that caregivers aren't really trained to do. You're thrown into the job last minute. It is a very difficult thing. Probably one of the hardest things that you'll ever do in your life is to become a caregiver for another adult. And so the people that we have on this show are here because they want to share with you and give you their experience, their expertise, and their knowledge about different topics that's going to help you as a family caregiver. Today we're going to be talking about Parkinson's disease. Now, a lot of people may or may not know that Parkinson's in some ways is related to other dementias, because there is a possibility that some people that are suffering with Parkinson's disease can also get dementia from that particular condition. Just like Alzheimer's is actually a type of dementia, vascular dementia falls under the umbrella of dementia. A lot of people ask me, Marcia, what's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia? Are they the same? Can you use it interchangeably? Well, I'd like to discuss that just for a second today, since we're going to be talking about possibly a different type of dementia. But dementia is the name of the condition, the name of a symptom of a lot of problems that somebody might have with memory, with executive functioning. It's not any one particular type. Dementia in and of itself is actually not a diagnosis. And so under the umbrella of dementia, it's sort of like if someone were to tell you that they had cancer. Well, cancer is the umbrella, and then under the umbrella would be the stick that holds the umbrellas, and there's lots of sticks under the cancer umbrella. So your normal question, if someone said they had cancer, would be, what kind of cancer? And so it could be lung cancer, skin cancer, just tons of different answers for that. Well, similarly, it's the same with dementia. Dementia is the umbrella. Under the dementia are the handles. Now, Alzheimer's disease is the largest handle because it is the most prevalent type of dementia. And so we basically say people have dementia of the Alzheimer's type, but there's lots of other types under that umbrella of dementia. And again, it could be a frontal temporal lobe dementia, a Parkinson type dementia. It could be dementia from alcohol abuse. It could be dementia from a head trauma. There's so many types of dementia. And so I just want to give that little explanation today because you don't really use it interchangeably, specifically if you're directing your thoughts and questions about Alzheimer's, but if someone does have memory loss and some different types of executive functioning problems, then you can say, well, they have the symptoms of dementia. So that being said, we're going to be talking about Parkinson's disease today. And my special guest today is Judith Simon. Now, Judith, I've known for a very long time. She is very well known in the Parkinson arena. She is the board chair of the South Florida chapter of the American Parkinson Association. She has been in the field of healthcare for many, many years, specifically 25 years in New York, owning a licensed home health company and companion service. When she came to Florida to live, being smart and coming down to Florida and getting out of the New York weather, she got active again. And she has created what we call the Alzheimer's Project and the TAP movement, which we're going to talk about today. She won an award for some music therapy program that she did. She has done so much. And I'm so excited to talk to her today about what she's doing now. And currently, she is working for about the last 3 years with Dr. James Galvin. And Dr. Galvin is the founder of the Comprehensive Center of Brain Health at the University of Miami. So I am so glad to introduce to you Judith Simon. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Marcia, and thank you. It's good to see you. And I do have to say that you are one of our dancers in Dancing with the Stars. So I think, did you win? I don't remember, but yeah, you did a Western, right?
Yeah, that was a long time ago, a two-step. I two-stepped for Alzheimer's.
You did.
I certainly did. And there's so much to talk about today, and I'm so excited that you're here. So since you brought that up about dancing, and it was a special event that you created, and this was probably, I don't know how many years ago.
When I first came, about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
And it was called Dancing
It was called Dancing with the Stars.
Of Palm Beach County.
Of Palm Beach County, and we actually did it at the Women's Center.
Yes.
Which now I think belongs to the county.
But it was a fundraiser.
It was a fundraiser. And we did raise a nice amount of money for the Alzheimer's Association.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes, and I danced for the project to raise money. It was my pleasure. It was a lot of fun. And so thank you for doing that. And hopefully we'll have another one of those now that COVID is not so prevalent.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay. All right, good. Well, one of the things that you did also was create something called the Alzheimer's Project and TAP, T-A-P movement. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the Alzheimer Project really was a very small 501c3 that I basically do it for third-party events to raise money and awareness for people with Alzheimer's, people with Parkinson's, and other neurological conditions. TAP movement stands for the Alzheimer Project. But under that, we've created dance programs and music programs that just have kept, especially during COVID, have just kept everybody glued together because, people were homebound. The Parkinson's Choir started about little over 4 years ago, and then all of a sudden there was COVID, and everything, like the whole world stopped, and actually many of the participants had asked me to start a Zoomy thing. I was like, you guys really want to Zoom? I mean, do you know what that means? You have to get a link, and you have to. So
everybody learned. It was
everybody
amazing.
learned. So actually, 2 years today was the last time that I was able to teach any place, in
person.
In person. And then I said, okay.
So it's a choir. You started a Parkinson choir. What gave you the idea to do that?
Well, it's always been something I've wanted to do, and along the way, I met Rabbi Merle Singer formerly of the Temple Beth El in Boca, And he said, I want to do it. I said, I want to do it. So he said, okay, let's do it. So we started out with a handful of people. And actually, if one good thing came out of COVID, it was all the virtual programming that we've been able to do that connected people. I don't think, people really understand the magnitude of when someone's homebound, what they had to go through. So every Monday from 3:30 to 4:30, without fail, it doesn't matter if it's a holiday, religious, government, it doesn't matter. We meet, and we have our Hollywood squares, and we've grown across the country.
So why a choir? Is that something that specifically is beneficial to someone living with Parkinson's?
It is. It's very beneficial. And I actually have to thank, as many of you know, Bree Gordon, our music therapist, who was the Wizardess of Oz, who can strum, Zoom people in, and had the nerve to have a baby in the middle of all that. But anyway, it helps with breath control, with pitch, with volume, with swallowing. I mean, there's nothing bad or, damaging to singing. It's just...
Well, the best thing is it makes you happy. At least it makes me happy.
It does.
And if you have a condition like Parkinson's, and it can be more beneficial than not to sing for all those reasons, for control and for the breathing and all of that, I think that's just so amazing.
What's amazing is that everybody was muted. So because every once in a while we would unmute, and that was a little overwhelming because everything bounces, but just for, for fun. And people just, every Monday. I mean, we had people as far as Anchorage, Alaska.
That's great. That's good.
So,
wow. Well, I love that. Parkinson's choir. I think you're probably, a forerunner on ideas like that. And so we're going to talk to you more about all of this. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Judy is going to be sharing with us some more wonderful programs that she's helped create for the Parkinson community. Stay with us.
Feelings of depression, isolation, and frustration are common among persons living with Alzheimer's or related dementias. It's common among those who care for them, too. It takes a lot of patience and courage. It also takes knowing when you can no longer do it alone. At Arden Quartz, memory care is all we do. Talk to us. We know. We understand. We can help. Don't let guilt keep you from making the right decision. Visit arden-quartz.com. Arden Quartz follows equal housing opportunity guidelines.
You are listening to your host, Marcia Teele, an Alzheimer's disease and dementia care expert on CaregiverSolutions.info. If you have a question or wish to share a story, call into the show at 888-565-1470 and talk with Marcia. Now, back to Caregiver Solutions.
Welcome back to the show. My guest today is Judith Simon. I've known Judy for many, many years, and she is a wonderful person, and she's very involved in the Parkinson community here in South Florida. She is the board chair of the South Florida American Parkinson Association, and she is much more. She's created lots of wonderful programs for the Parkinson community. So Judy, we're talking about all these wonderful things that you've helped create, the singing for the Parkinson community that's so beneficial, the dancing, awareness. Talk a little bit about how you're trained in Parkinson dancing, and then ultimately you won an award. Can you talk to us about that?
So when I was living in New York, I had the good fortune of working with David Leventhal, who's the creator of Dance for PD. And I was trained quite some time ago. And I did classes in New York. And when I came to Florida, I know the Boca Ballet also, gives many classes in dance for Parkinson's. And I did quite a few in different physical therapy centers. And then, during COVID, once we were able to kind of go out, a group of people that I work with said, maybe would you do a dance class? Because people were anxious to be together. Gratefully, the YMCA in Boca has donated space, and everything is gratis, so I couldn't ask for a better partnership. And we meet every Sunday.
So this is ongoing now.
It's ongoing.
So it's a dance for Parkinson, and it's ongoing.
We meet on Sundays from 12 to 1:30.
Great.
And we do everything from the electric slide to ballet to whatever song comes on next. So it's a very social group, a time for us to be together. We have snowbirds. We have people that are living here, and for me, this whole experience has been one of the most rewarding experiences.
So can anyone go, or do they have to pre-register, or if they decide they want to come and check
They
it out?
can come and just join us.
Just show up?
Yep.
Okay, and again, it's at the...
At the YMCA on Palmetto Circle.
Okay, in Boca.
In Boca.
Okay, so if you are interested in dancing, if you are suffering from Parkinson's, you want to check it out, go join Judy's dance class.
And people, you don't have to have dance experience.
Okay, good to know.
And you can be seated or standing.
Okay.
So, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so all levels are welcome. All levels, no experience required, and you'll have fun. And I know with Judy you'll have fun. That's awesome. So you also, at some point, won an award for your music therapy. What's that all about?
So back in the day, when I was in New York, and Mediterranean diet started coming into play, myself, a behavioral neurologist that I was associated with, and the Institute for Music and Neurologic Function, which I was most fortunate to be exposed to and learn from. We started certain projects. Those projects kind of were before their time. They weren't ready. So we decided to transition the whole project into a music therapy project in our local hospital. We had 4 disciplines that we worked with within the hospital and the community. And we actually wrote a whole syllabus and program, to show the benefits. At the time, there were only 11 alternative treatment hospitals in the country. And the hospital won a Plaintree Award for the music therapy program, which was a beautiful
Well,
thing.
congratulations.
Yeah.
So now you're involved with setting up something else that's really big. It's not the first year for it, but is called the Parkinson Symposium. And I want everybody to know about this. We want to encourage everyone, if you are a caregiver for someone with Parkinson's, if you are yourself have Parkinson's, anybody that you know, this is a great opportunity. They're having a Parkinson Symposium, and it's coming up soon on Saturday, March 19th, 2022. So I want to make sure you have that date there, because we are live, we are current, and this is coming up very, very soon. Tell me about the Parkinson Symposium, how it all came about and how it works.
Okay, so this is it's an annual event, and this is the 6th annual Parkinson Symposium that had stop, yes, no, but we finally were able
We're
to.
doing it this year.
We're doing it
In person.
in person.
Okay, great.
But we will be observing, it's the present CDC guidelines. So,
right.
Masks are suggested, but they're not mandatory.
Okay,
But
and-
we're not going to talk about that.
Well, you do your own thing, whatever you feel more comfortable
whatever
with.
people are comfortable with.
But it's actually being held March 19th, again,
at the Boca Marriott.
Boca Marriott in Boca Raton, 8:30 a.m. to 4
To 4
p.m.
p.m.
So it's an all-day affair, and there's registration that's required. And-
Registration is online. If people want to go to apdaparkinsons.org/FL, That will bring up the Florida chapter, and you can register in person. You can have your food selection. And there's also a choice if you want to participate virtually.
Okay. And is there a cost for this symposium?
There is a cost to be in person. It's $25 a person, and if you're two people, I think it's $40, and
Okay.
virtual,
And that includes lunch.
yeah, and a
Okay.
continental breakfast.
Sounds great.
And anything
Sounds
else
like a good
that we
deal.
wanted to serve.
and all the education
And
that
all
you're
the
going to be
education.
providing. So let me just let everybody know again, if you'd like to register for Saturday, March 19th, for the American Parkinson Disease Association Symposium. It's going to be at the Boca Raton Marriott. In order to attend, you must register. You can go online to APDA Parkinson, no S, just Parkinson.org/FL. And you can register on that, or Google it. You'll find the link, and Judy will be there. And
A lot of other amazing people in the
Amazing
community
people.
that have been my right arm and my left arm. I couldn't have done it without them.
So this is your 6th year, and I know it's
My
been
my first as
your
a chair.
first as chair, but this is the 6th year for the symposium, and I know that it's been growing and getting better and better every year. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the topics that you are going to have presenters talking about at the symposium to give everybody an idea of what they could expect.
Okay, so many of the doctors will be coming from the University of Miami, and it's very nice that APDA and the university have formed a relationship called an Inr Center, which is information and resource. So UM and APDA have a partnership. And then we'll also have Dr. Dalvi, who everybody knows in the neighborhood. He'll be speaking, as well as Dr. Galvin, who's with UM, but he'll be talking. He's not part of the movement disorder department. We have our own department, so he'll be talking about Parkinsonian dementia. Some of the topics we'll be talking about are, medication initiative. Medication and management for PD, non-motor symptoms in PD. We'll have exercise and medicine. We'll have diet and Parkinson's. We'll be talking about deep brain stimulation, DBS. We'll talk about advanced care planning. And we also will have some wonderful activities for the audience to participate in. And we'll have the Parkinson's Choir will be singing. Colleen will be doing her rock steady boxing. And we'll probably be doing a little bit of a drum circle.
Wow, lots of fun stuff. Yeah, we actually had the boxing with Rocksteady Boxing featured on one of our programs.
Yeah.
And it's amazing just the movement and helping people with Parkinson's being able to move and to exercise. And they say that exercise is medicine.
Well, I think anybody that knows me knows I believe in alternative treatments and the arts. And I think, finally science and the arts have come together. I think COVID has been a perfect example of how the arts have kept everybody glued together, no matter what condition they have. Especially people that are, confined and have limitations and need. I mean, we all need socialization, and the arts have just been, I think, the tool that just made everything work.
Yeah. Well, this is wonderful. It's all going to come together. It's a wonderful educational opportunity. I know you're going to be talking about the disease, the process, the signs, the symptoms. So, no matter what stage that you are in or what stage that you know about Parkinson and you want to learn more, this is the place to go. This is the place to be. And it's like Judy said, you'll meet a lot of people that are walking in your shoes so that you can find people that you can talk with, you can identify and make some new friends and share with each other, because that's what it's all about, is sharing.
We actually have a gentleman who we've met and is in the choir, and he's had some DBS surgery, Louis Hanif, who actually wrote a book, Whole Lot of Shaking Going On. So Louis will
Love
be there.
that title.
Yeah. And then we also have Storycorp, which is a national not-for-profit organization, and they too will be live streaming. We can't record people just because we still have to follow, some COVID guidelines. But if anybody wants to register and participate at another point, all the stories are archived in the Library of Congress.
Wow. So
So
these are
that's-
actual people that have Parkinson, and they're telling their own story. Wow, that's impressive.
But they can tell their story, to us at APDA, because, that's real.
Yeah, that is. And guess what? When we come back from this commercial break, we're going to have a person with us, a special guest, and she's going to tell her story of living with Parkinson. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Arden Quartz is not just a place to live, it's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Quartz. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Quartz provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Quartz, we know, we understand, and we can help, because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Quartz provides. You are listening to your host, Marcia Teele, an Alzheimer's disease and dementia care expert on CaregiverSolutions.info. If you have a question or wish to share a story, call into the show at 888-565-1470 and talk with Marcia. Now, back to Caregiver Solutions.
We are back, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our national sponsor, Arden Quartz Memory Care. Arden Quartz is a leader when it comes to memory care assisted living. They have about 50 assisted living communities all across the United States, and 10 of them right here in Florida. Arden Quartz is a leader because not only are they very experienced taking care of people that have dementia, but they also love to take care of the caregiver and provide lots of resources to help the caregiver. Just because someone is in a community doesn't mean that the caregiver stops being the caregiver, as you probably know. And so there are lots of resources that are available, and one of them is available today. This is a book called The 36-Hour Day. It's a wonderful resource for caregivers. It's all about Alzheimer's, dementia, talking about the different types of dementia, a lot of definitions, a lot of tips, and things that caregivers would need to know. This book is free just because you are either listening to us on iHeartRadio or local Southeast Florida radio, or because you've tuned in watching this program live stream. In order to get this free book, all you have to do is send an email, and that email address is delray@arden-quartz.com. Again, Delray, DELRAY, at Arden, ARDEN-Quartz, COURTS.com. Give us your name, your address, and your telephone number, and tell us that you saw the offer for the 36-Hour Day book on the Caregiver Solutions info show, and they'll be happy to send this book directly to your doorstep. I highly recommend this if you are a caregiver and you don't have this book. It's a wonderful resource to have. So today we're talking about Parkinson disease. It is something that can go hand in hand a lot of times with dementia, because Parkinson can sometimes cause a Parkinson type dementia. Not always, but it is something that everyone is concerned about, just because there's a lot of research going on, a lot of efforts to make the public know, more awareness. It is a wonderful time here in South Florida, because there is a symposium just for Parkinson's, and it's coming up on Saturday, March the 19th, 2022 at the Boca Raton Marriott. And so if you're interested or know someone who's interested learning more about Parkinson's disease and signs and symptoms and treatments that are going on, I again highly encourage you to register to attend this. It is in person, and it's going to be a wonderful event all day from 8:30 till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The way to register is to get on the website apdaparkinson.org/FL for Florida and register for the event. It is going to be very, very good, and you'll be glad that you went. So today I have two guests now. We have a special guest joining us. Mary Goldfarb is joining us along with Judith Simon. Judy has been talking about all of her efforts in promoting and educating people on Parkinson disease and all the wonderful programs she's created. And she's brought along her friend, Mary Goldfarb. And Mary is living right now with Parkinson's. And hi, Mary, welcome to the show.
Hi, Marcia. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm so glad that you agreed to come on and share your story, because I think that is just so important for people that are living with a condition that other people have, to tell your story, and people can learn. And you know it because you're walking on that path, right? And other people are walking in your shoes. So if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a few questions about what's going on with you.
No, go right ahead.
Okay, so backing up, you had some obviously some idea that maybe something was wrong. And so walk us through that from the first signs and what you thought and what you did about it.
Okay. My journey begins in Albany, New York, 15 years ago. I had a career. My husband had his own business. My daughter was in middle school. Everything seemed to be going fine. But I started noticing changes. My writing would get really small, and people couldn't read it. My gait, I couldn't keep up walking with my family. We were on vacation. They were like, come on, come on. I just was slowing up. My gait and my voice. They're like, talk louder, talk louder. And then everything started falling into place. I'm like, I think I better go see a neurologist. So we went to see the neurologist up in Albany, and they did some tests, and they came back and they said, you didn't have a brain tumor, you didn't have a stroke, but you have Parkinson's disease. And it wasn't detected by a test, it was detected by the way I walked, and they observed observation.
By your symptoms.
Yes, and my symptoms. Well, those two words, Parkinson's disease, back then to me was a death sentence. I was 44, and I was in the middle of my career, but I got this diagnosis. And I'm being honest, for the first 9 years, I managed the condition. I took the medication, and I went to my doctor's appointments, but I didn't really focus on the condition because I was so busy with my career, my husband, and my daughter. Well, it took a fall in April of 2016 to bring it to my attention. I fell in the driveway, and I got an infection in my leg, and I was hospitalized for 6 days. And that fall made me permanently disabled, where I had to leave my job early, and it was time to focus on my life now. So that's when I really focused on Parkinson's, was starting in 2016.
Because of the fall.
Mm-hmm. I had a year of physical therapy. I used a walker for 6 months.
Wow.
And I had a year of physical therapy. And then after that, I was still up in upstate New York. And I started going to a boxing class, and there was a dance class. And I started, getting out, but with Parkinson's, not only going to the class, it's being with people that are going through the same thing that you're going through. You don't feel that isolation, And in 2018, as they say, I transplanted down here to Florida. The transition wasn't easy. It was hard finding doctors, but we got everything in place, and now, here I am. And I've got, a lot of good resources that I've taken advantage of, and it's just been a up and down journey. It's hard, managing, trying new medications out. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Sometimes you freeze, sometimes you don't freeze.
When she freezes, we just move her along. We don't
Yeah,
let
like
her freeze for
sometimes-
too long.
Like I'm in the middle of dance class and I'm 10 minutes away from my medication. Like I freeze and everyone knows I'm having that moment, But we all just laugh and,
Does it last long when you freeze?
Not really. The medication for me kicks in quite fast,
Okay.
But it's not a death sentence, and I think if you have a positive attitude and I'm very fortunate. I have a very supportive family. My husband's very supportive, my daughter, and I just feel with, the support and, it just helps.
So it's been 15 years since you were first diagnosed?
Yes.
Wow. So when they told you that you had Parkinson's disease, is there anything in your history or your family's history, anybody had that particular condition before?
Not that I'm aware of. My mom passed away at 59, and my dad had already passed. But, we did do family trees and stuff, but nobody that,
Not that you know of.
not that I know of, I did take the AARP, had a little quiz in their, magazine, and I answered all the questions and said, you may want to see a neurologist, And that was just before I went. And I'm like, I don't think I have Parkinson's. But,
What did you think that you had?
I don't know. I just thought maybe it was I just lost my father in 2007, so I just thought maybe everything caught up to me and
Like stress?
stress, yeah. And but then with the my gait and my voice and just everything's added up, and they're like, you better go see the doctor.
Wow.
So
And so you did, and that's what they said. What was how old was your daughter at the time?
she was in middle school.
So how did you explain this to her, and how did she take it?
That was hard because she found out about it when I took her to her pediatrician, and they asked me if there's been a change in the family health, and excuse me, and I said yes, I have Parkinson's, and Carol looked at me and I'm like, it's okay, and I mean it took her a while to accept it, but now she's my strong supporter.
Yeah, that's hard, is a big change, and her being young.
Yeah.
So what is the hardest thing for you today? You've been talking about being positive, and you're taking the medications, and you obviously do the dance classes, and you've been through the boxing for movement. But what's the hardest thing for you today?
That's hard to think. I mean, I don't know. I think, well, at nighttime I have struggles at nighttime because after a long day, you're tired and my legs don't want to move by 9 o'clock at night. So it's hard because, if I want to go to a concert or something, it's hard because the crowds, I can't be around crowds because I get overwhelmed, and the Parkinson's just kicks in. So if I want to, but I don't know. Just at nighttime, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard, just not knowing what's going to be down the road. I think that's the hardest thing, not knowing what's down the road.
Has your journey so far been typical or atypical, or is there no way to really judge that?
I don't think there's a way to judge that, because I think Parkinson's hits everybody in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And again, medications work for one person, they may not work for me, or So everyone's approach is a little bit different, but we're all working with the same resources. But I think the thing that scares me the most is not knowing what's down the road.
Yeah, well, that is scary for a lot of people that aren't living with a condition like yours. So, you're a very brave lady, because you are here talking about it, and I applaud you for that. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back in just a minute. More with Mary Goldfarb and Judith Simon. Stay with us.
Somewhere at the corner of bewildered and confused is a lost mother, a father, a sibling, a grandparent. Wandering is a common symptom of Alzheimer's or related dementias, and can often make those who care for a loved one feel just as lost. If you're looking for a place that's safe and secure, look to Arden Quartz. Memory care is all we do. We know, we understand, we can help. To learn more, visit arden-quartz.com. Arden Quartz follows equal housing opportunity guidelines.
You are listening to your host, Marcia Teele, an Alzheimer's disease and dementia care expert on CaregiverSolutions.info. If you have a question or wish to share a story, call into the show at 888-565-1470 and talk with Marcia. Now, back to Caregiver Solutions.
We're back. Thank you for watching the Caregiver Solution Info Show. Today we're talking about Parkinson disease, and with me today is Judith Simon and Mary Goldfarb. Judy is the board chair of the South Florida American Parkinson Association, and she's brought her friend Mary Goldfarb with her today, who is living with Parkinson's and talking about her journey. So, Mary, thank you again for being here and sharing a little bit about your story. Question, when you are out and about, are you at all, and these are hard questions, and I know you said that I could ask you anything, so I will, and I am, because I think that a lot of people would want to know, and that aren't familiar with Parkinson's. I know that a lot of people know Michael J. Fox, who suffers from Parkinson disease, and his journey through this. And so you have the tremors also that is associated with Parkinson's?
Occasionally, yes. And I'll be in the post office, and if there's a line of people ahead of me, it's kind of embarrassing, because my turn comes up and I'm stuck. I am frozen because I waited in line for so long. So then I say to myself, I have to remain calm, and I'm just I have these people looking at me.
Like, go lady, it's your turn.
I try to make an excuse my foot's asleep, my foot's asleep. And in reality, I'm trying to get my legs going. So what I have to do is I have to step to the side and then, try to distract myself to get going.
So is it like a mental with a physical kind of working together,
Yeah.
trying to get your brain to tell your feet to move?
Yeah, and it's sometimes the opposite, because you're moving too fast, because your legs are moving, but your brain is slow, So I fell occasionally, because I'm going too fast.
So you've fallen because of that?
Yes.
So it's either too slow, too fast, and trying to coordinate the brain with your feet.
Right. So
Yeah.
if you see me in the post office, that's Parkinson's,
What are some of the activities that you've had to give up since being diagnosed with Parkinson's disease?
I don't think you've given anything up.
I don't really think
Driving?
No, I don't drive I-95.
Okay.
I'm a local driver, you know.
So you're still able to
I'm
drive.
still able to drive. I wasn't able to run after my fall. I was doing 5Ks, you know, before I fell. But then we had our walk in October. The APDA had their walk this past October. And I wanted
And thanks to her, we had a run. And she actually, if I may say, everybody in the dental practice that she goes to loves her so much that 44 people showed up to run in honor of her.
Wow, awesome.
Dr.
Awesome.
Dean, I'll give him a plug. Dr. Dean and his dental group, they came to support me. But
So you practiced for this run.
yeah, I went on the computer and I downloaded the Couch to 5K program, and I trained for a month. And then the day came, and I came in 46 out of 99 people.
Congratulations.
And my time was 35 minutes and 29 seconds. So
That
now,
is great. I mean, I don't know if I could do that. That
so
was
now
amazing.
I'm in training for the next walk. So save the date, October 30th.
Okay, that's great.
You know.
Good, very, very good. And so your day-to-day life, except for certain instances, you're still trying to do the same. Are you still working?
No, my doctors took me out because of the fall. Even though it happened at home, they were afraid that I was going to hurt myself. And that's a whole different thing because I had to apply for Social Security disability, and you have to go through all that red tape.
Yep.
But eventually everything falls into place. You know, but, you know, my day is exercise, you know, whether it's a walk or going to dance class or boxing, you know. And then, again, trying to remain positive. I feel I do that on my own because I have enough medication as it is. I don't need anything, you know, so I try to stay positive, and I'm grateful for every day, you know.
I think we all need to do that, you know, more and more. And I'm so amazed of your progress as far as keeping it at bay. You've done everything that you need to do to have a still quality of life. And
She does.
Right, Judy? I mean, that's what it's about. It's quality of life. No matter what life throws at us, everyone has something.
I mean, the pandemic threw things off because, you know, here you would be going to class and, you know, everything, and then all of a sudden it stopped, you know. And even though there were Zoom classes, it's not the same seeing the people in person. And, you know, with Parkinson's, it's a close-knit community, and some people, they need to feel like they're not alone. And, you know, there's people out there that I know that haven't taken advantage, or they can't take advantage of a program, but they should know that they're not alone, you know.
Absolutely.
Not to give up.
Those are
I have
very
to say
good words.
that being, you know, with all these people puts things into perspective, you know, like I honestly feel lucky to have been asked to chair this organization. When they asked me, I was like, I don't want to do this, and I never said I would do it. And then they kind of said, well, we'll ask your supervisor, who was Dr. Galvin. And I was like, no, okay, I didn't want them asking him. I said, okay. And
But now you're glad you did.
I am 100%.
Because it's rewarding.
The camaraderie that we have, it's like we're like a family.
Yes.
We share everything, good, bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We laugh, we cry.
I didn't think my golden years would be like this. You know,
course
I mean, I was like, you know, I never thought about them until it happened, I guess. You know,
And you're making the best of it. You know,
And she does all the time.
I know you're an inspiration to the people in your group. I mean, you have a beautiful smile and you have a wonderful air about you, and I'm sure that people look up to you and get inspiration from you because, you know, you are a positive and you're dealing with it in a good way and helping others. And I think that's, you know, the best thing you could do.
Oh, thanks, Marcia. You know, I hope I make a difference, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure that you do. And so, Judy, thank you for being here. Mary, thank you for being here. This is awesome. I want to tell everybody again about the Parkinson Symposium. You want to tell them the details, Judy?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And also, you can register in person. So if you wake up Saturday morning or you just don't get to register online, you know, we will have people
there that day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's fine. It is on this Saturday, March 19th, 2022, after a couple of delays. It's at the Boca Marriott in Town Center. It starts at 8:30 to 4 o'clock. And we have wonderful speakers from the University of Miami. We have Dr. Dalvey, who was our former medical director. Dr. James Galvin will be speaking. And if you want to register online, you just go to apdaparkinson.org/FL. And you can register to be with us in person and also virtually. We have about over 20-something people that will be watching virtually.
And hopefully more after they see this, because a lot of people watch us virtually and they learn a lot about what's going on out there. So please don't hesitate to register for this. It's only once a year. It's back. And at Parkinson Symposium, you'll learn an awful lot and meet an awful lot of nice people like Judy and like Mary. So thank you so much,
Thank
both
you.
of you, for being
It's good
here
to
today.
see you
Marcia,
again.
Thank you.
Thanks for all that you do, Judy. Thank you, Mary, for being an inspiration and telling your story. And
Thank you.
I'm amazed and very impressed by your abilities, you know, of how you handle it. And, you know, we should all take a lesson.
Absolutely.
Like I said, everybody's got something to handle, and being positive and being grateful is the best. So also want to thank the audience that you've been tuning in to this program. Thank you for watching. If you just joined us recently and you didn't catch the information about the free 36-hour day book, you can get this book absolutely free just for the asking. You can send an email to delray@arden-quartz.com. Tell them that you saw the free offer on the Caregiver Solution Info Show. Give us your name, address, and telephone number, and they'll mail this book right to you. It's a wonderful resource for caregivers, helping people live their best life with some form of dementia. So this is a great book. It's absolutely free. And so, you know, don't delay on that. We will be back next week every Tuesday at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Time for another episode of the Caregiver Solution Info Show. Thank you for watching. Tell your friends and family about it. And I hope that you all stay safe and have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Thanks for joining us for this week's Caregiver Solutions with Marcia Teele. Join us next week as Marcia, who has 15 years of Alzheimer's disease and dementia care experience, brings you more needed information to help with the care of your loved one. This show can be seen again on caregiversolutions.info, and questions can be left on the site, which may be used on the program to help others. See you next week for more Caregiver Solutions. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its host,